Hello, I'm Bert Bronius, and this presentation is called Maximizing Learning Through Educational Evaluation in the Church. Church education programs are rarely, if ever, evaluated. Leaders seem satisfied with making value judgments about groups, courses, or classes that are based on anecdotal information or the numbers in attendance. This presentation suggests evaluative processes that can improve the effectiveness of teaching and learning in the church. Educational evaluation is the process of making judgments about the worth or importance of educational intentions, strategies, and outcomes on the basis of objective information. There are generally three areas of educational evaluation: intentions, also called purposes or goals; strategy, referred to sometimes as methods or processes; and outcomes, which relate to results or effectiveness. Intentions are the goals and objectives of a course or class. Questions are asked such as, what do we want to happen as a result of this activity? How will we know that it has happened? And what changes are anticipated in learner knowledge, attitude, and behavior? Strategies are planned learning activities, methods, and procedures. Leaders ask, to what degree have our procedures been effective in accomplishing the goals and objectives? And then finally, outcomes identify what has actually happened. Questions are asked such as, what really happened? What identifiable evidence is there to tell what has happened? Now, another way of looking at educational evaluation is in the sense of two forms of evaluation. These are referred to as formative evaluation and summative evaluation. The first, formative, is conducted during an educational experience, while the second is done at the end or the conclusion of a course or class. Formative evaluation is a process of identifying the success or failure, that is, the strengths and weaknesses, of a course or class as it is being taught. Formative evaluation involves making judgments about the effectiveness of teaching and learning while a class is underway so that corrections can be made during the course. Questions that are asked in formative evaluation are, what are the strengths and weaknesses of this program in comparison with others that are similar? Are the methods and media being used correctly? And what suggestions should be considered for improvement in the content and process of teaching? Now, summative evaluation happens a little later. It happens at the end. Summative evaluation is used at the end of a course of study. It assesses the effectiveness of the course or program in accomplishing its intended goals. Formative evaluation is often used to determine whether or not a course will be repeated or modified to be taught again. Summative questions are, to what degree was this course meaningful? In what ways was growth promoted? And did the teaching fit within the context and goals of the church and its educational program? What follows now is an example of one evaluative model, and I've chosen that of Robert Stake. Stake has developed an approach to evaluation that is responsive to the particular program being evaluated and the people involved in the program. There are three elements to Stake's model. These are antecedents, transactions, and outcomes. The first, antecedents, Antecedents are the issues that led to the development of a course or class. These are based on felt or prescribed needs and are reflected in a course's intentions, strategies, and resources. For example, antecedents can be used by reviewing any written statements about intentions, strategies, and resources, as well as talking with those who proposed the course or program or were among its participants. Second element, transactions, also called strategies, are the educational experiences of the leaders and participants. These experiences can include directly and indirectly implemented teaching and learning methods. For example, transactions are evaluated most frequently by observing the teaching and learning that takes place. Learners and teachers can also be interviewed to identify the effectiveness of these transactions or strategies. And finally, outcomes are the results of a course or class. Results can include changes in learner understanding, attitude, and behavior. For example, evaluators can assess outcomes by gathering information through surveys, questionnaires, or interviews about what has been learned by the participants. In summary, for Stake's model, by considering all three elements of his model, leaders can make informed decisions about the quality of an educational course or program. This can provide a foundation for improving future teaching and learning in the church. Now, putting together what we have described so far, we can look at these points as if they were questions. And the questions we might ask to evaluate an educational course or class or program are things such as, what were the learning intentions for the group or class? What strategies were used? What were the outcomes and how did they relate to the intentions? How was formative evaluation done? How was summative evaluation conducted? What antecedents were identified? How effective were the transactions? And in what ways did the transaction lead to the anticipated outcomes? So this presentation has been an overview, and it has introduced the processes of evaluation, educational evaluation in the church. Included were definitions and descriptions of educational evaluation, including intentions, strategies, outcomes, formative evaluation, and summative evaluation. The evaluation model of Robert Stake was also described as an approach for making decisions about antecedents, transactions, and outcomes. These can be powerful tools for improving church education if used all together or even only in part. Following will be recommended resources and then some end notes that give further development or qualification to the material that has been presented. So the two resources I'm suggesting are Stake's book, Standards-Based and Responsive Evaluation, and the book by Ferguson and Lefevre, Christian Educator's Guide to Evaluating and Developing Curriculum. Thank you for your attention to this presentation and for the privilege of sharing with you hopes for improving education in the church. May God bless you in your teaching, learning, and evaluation.